Where does fat actually go when you burn it? Your friend asks, finished your gym workout? Did you manage to burn some fat? And you're thinking, great question. I definitely burned some calories, hope some fat too, but how did I actually burn it? When you exercise, the process raises your body's demand for oxygen, and your body breaks fat down for fuel to meet that demand. The CO2 you exhale afterward is the byproduct of that. Fat gets broken down and leaves your body through two specific physical exits. About 84% leaves through your lungs. As carbon dioxide, you breathe it out. The other 16% leaves as water, sweat, urine, the usual routes. Which raises the obvious next question. If breathing out fat is the exit, can you just breathe harder on purpose and skip the workout? Or even more embarrassing, does that mean when you fart, it helps too? Let's kill both theories right now. No to the fart one first. That gas is your gut bacteria fermenting leftover food, hydrogen, methane, completely different process. Nothing to do with fat leaving your bloodstream. And no to breathing harder either. Hyperventilating just blows off CO2 already sitting in your blood. It doesn't create any new fat breakdown. Breathing is the exit route, not the trigger. You still need the actual demand for oxygen that only real exertion creates. So here's a trickier version of that same question. What if you're sitting down, but you breathe hard enough on purpose to get your heart rate into zone 2? Does that count? Still no. Zone 2 isn't really about your heart rate number, it's about your muscles actually contracting and demanding fuel. Sitting still and forcing your breathing might spike your heart rate on a screen, but your muscles aren't asking for energy, so there's nothing pulling fat out of storage. You just make yourself lightheaded for nothing. Good try being creative, though. Sorry, you still need to put in the effort to move more and exercise. Here's where it gets genuinely useful, though. There's a specific intensity where your body burns the highest percentage of fat as fuel. Sports scientists call it fat max, and it sits at a moderate effort, roughly the pace where you can still hold a conversation, but you're working. That's zone 2. Push harder than that, and your body shifts toward burning carbs instead. And your VO2 max, your body's capacity to take in and use oxygen, directly affects how much fat you can burn at any given intensity. Better aerobic fitness genuinely means a better fat-burning engine, not just more stamina. Since fat is leaving your body through your bloodstream and your lungs, body-wide, not from one local spot, now you understand why targeting one area doesn't really work. But there are two genuine exceptions worth knowing. One is belly fat. We meant visceral fat in this context, and it's stubborn for a real, specific reason. Fat cells in that area carry more of a receptor type that actively slows down fat release. Plus, that area responds more to cortisol and insulin, which both favor holding onto fat rather than letting it go. That's not about which abs exercise you do. It's your hormones and your fat cells' own biology working against you specifically there. The other exception is a recent, smaller study. Researchers had people combine heavy ab-focused endurance work with a lot of overall cardio and found a modest, measurable, localized effect. It's one result swimming against a much bigger pool of evidence saying no, so it's worth knowing about. Not worth building your whole plan around. If you want more detail on Zone 2 training, visceral fat, or insulin resistance, you can find more videos on the channel. A real, sustained calorie deficit, consistent movement, ideally with some of that movement in your fat max zone, and letting your body decide the order it lets go of the fat. You can't pick the order. You do get to control whether it happens at all. So next time, when you realize you have lost fat, that means your body has effectively used the fat as fuel during some activities you have conducted. Not because you breathe harder or you do ab crunches. Train smarter, not harder. Thanks for watching.